Silly bird. Oh, hey folks. Thought I'd tell you guys a story today. Kind of bored. Saturday. Ain't got shit to do. Been thinking about these young people that we've been locking up in prison camps at the border. As you may know, I've mentioned it before, I've been held in the juvenile detention system. From 12 to 17 I spent in there. Seems like a summer camp compared to what those kids are going through. Anyway, first night I got locked up, I met this, well, actually the next morning I got locked up overnight, so everybody was already lights out. And next morning we're all introducing ourselves, or they're introducing themselves to me, you know. And one of the guys' name, I had Jim Flowers. He was a white guy. I had DC. He was Native American. He said DC stood for Big Dick Daddy from Cincinnati. I'll never forget that motherfucker. Mike Serrano. That's the important one. And then we had another kid, redheaded white kid, who didn't have that good of a time in there. I was involved in part of it, but we're not talking about that part. Talk about Mike Serrano. He was like 16. I was 12 when I first got locked up. He was 16. I met him in there, and like that first morning at breakfast, everybody, there wasn't assigned seats, so everybody separated by race and shit. Kind of. It was the white kids and the natives at one table, because there was like, there's never more than 4 white people in there at a time. They sat at one table, and there was 2 natives in there, DC, and then there was another guy in there. He was native as well. He said he was had Apache blood. And once I saw him, we were lined up. We always lined up in the hall and did head count and stuff. Anywhere we went, line up, head count. And we were standing in line one day. You got those big mirrors up on the corners that see around the corners and the hallways and shit. Jumped, did the splits and kicked that thing. He had to jump like a couple feet off the ground and do the splits. I've never seen that. Got in trouble for that. Anyway, so that first morning we wake up, go to breakfast, and I sit down with the white kids and the natives. But Mike Serrano raised me over. And the Mexicans had their own. Mexicans had a whole table. They had 2 tables, but at that time we were only using one of like 1.5. A couple people sat on the other table. And then black kids, there was a bunch of them. And they had like 3 tables. There's 6 tables in there altogether. So if they had the 2 and the 1, Mexicans had yeah. And Mexican kids, they got the table in the middle, and the one next to it, and the TV was right up there over their table, so they controlled the channels and everything. So it was cool that Serrano waved me over, and I got to sit, not even at the shitty table, I got to sit at the main table, even. They kind of took me under their wing. They were a gang called Lomas, which just means streets, I guess. And the main guy, Mike Serrano, actually turned out to be one of the main guys. And then there was Juan and Luis Chavez. They were brothers. I'm mentioning the names because Serrano is dead. Pigs killed him, hung him in a jail cell, said it was a suicide. Much like that woman, the activist woman, that fucking Texas cop pulled over. I'm sure that was a murder as well. And why did they murder him? Because earlier that night they murdered Richard Shuey and planted a gun on him and said he was armed. But we all know that we didn't. The set that we were on Lomos was, we stole cars. We didn't do robberies. We didn't sell drugs. We did a shooting once, but we got rid of all those guns. We never carry guns. We didn't do carjackings. We stole cars. We just jimmy them, get the lock up, pop it up. Or they got the little, we did a lot of Jeep Cherokees. And they had the little triangle window, you just pop that open and you get in there. There was this dude that ran with us. He could fucking, we saw that movie Gone in 60 seconds. This dude was gone in 30 seconds, maybe less. That's how fast he was. He was the fastest guy we had. Anyway, back to Serrano. Get waved over to that table. I really should script these fucking videos, because man, I get fucking sidetracked. So this is actually about some advice that Serrano gave me. My first week there. So that was the first day. Like during that week, he was giving me all kinds of, I was hanging out with them. He'd give me advice and stuff. And one of the things he told me to do, because on the weekends was visiting time. Nobody's family would come, but I didn't have family coming to see me. My parents gave up custody. I was on my own. And so he was like, well, you go, guys that don't have visitors, they go to, what they call it, Spices. They call it Spices, but what it was is Gideon's comes in on the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, I think, if I remember right. And they bring a movie and some snacks. That's it. And they don't even preach. But at the end, they give you like a little pocket Bible. And he told me, go ahead and go to Spices and get one of those little pocket Bibles. Keep that with you all the time. And at that time, I was raised Catholic. Got baptized, confirmed. I got all three of the sacraments, so I'm going to hell. I'm good to go. Even though I don't so much believe in that anymore. More think the Jews were closer to what the truth is. But anyway, so I pick up one of those little Bibles on the weekend. And yeah, I read it a couple times. I've read it a few times while I was in there. Mostly what I would read in there is Louis L'Amour. I love Louis L'Amour. I read, I think literally every single Louis L'Amour book in there, like over 100, I'm sure. So he tells me to get one of these little handheld Bibles, keep it with me, keep it in the waistband because we didn't have pockets and stuff. And so I do. And time goes by, I get sent different places. I go to this place where crazy fucking place. You're in solitary for like the first 48 or 72 hours. I don't even know. They don't even give you a clock. You go into solitary and they just want to see how you deal with that, I guess. I don't fucking know. It's crazy. But the whole place, the whole system they had, it was boys and girls. But the girls were in a separate part, of course. And you weren't even, like, during breakfast time, they'd go to a separate building, but we'd be leaving at the same time. And, like, if you looked across the way, you could see that they were lined up and go into there. It was like a fucking boot camp. But if you even looked over there, you get in trouble. Because the whole system was based on, it was checks. Check yourself for the, everybody had to, like, you were in a group of like 5 guys. You get separated, 5 guys. And you had to put checks on each other. Like if you saw somebody doing something bad, you had to check them right there. Remember that you did that or write it down or something. Because at the end of the day, you go over all the checks and shit that you did on other people and all the checks you had done to you. Fucking sick place, man. But anyway, and so I go to place, and they try to tell you, I got an IQ test there done actually, a real one. Took a couple hours with the puzzles and all that shit. And then I had another one at the end of high school. So, and my foster mom told me what my IQ was on both tests. I think she said she wasn't supposed to, but she did. Anyway, off track, motherfucker. So I'm carrying this Bible around. I keep it with me all these places. I meet kids, I write their names and their addresses and phone numbers and stuff in there. I end up back at the YDC, the Youth Detention Center. It's like jail. It's not the prison. There was a different place that was like prison, like a penitentiary for kids. This was more like a jail for kids. You're waiting to go to court. You're waiting to be placed. I'm waiting for an opening somewhere else, stuff like that. So I'm back at the Y. That's where I met Serrano and Chavez brothers and all this. So I'm back there. Still got my little Bible. Batman the Animated Series was coming out. And I really wanted to see that. I was really excited about that one. It looked good. And it was good. So the premiere's happening. And timing of it ended right at the time when it was some scheduled shit we had to do, so everybody had to line up. And the buzzer goes off 5 minutes before the show's over, right? So everybody's got to line up. And the show's not over, but I wanted to finish watching it. I had a little bit of, rep. I've been there for like a year. It's been like a year by now. I've been moving around, coming back, going somewhere else, meeting all these people. Everybody knows me. So I had rep, so I didn't think I'd get in trouble if I stayed 5 minutes. I'll get in the end of the line maybe. Still make it on time. So I watched the last few minutes of the show. I'm getting up to go line up with everybody. Stretching, I see this other kid in there, Quincy. And he was the highest ranking guy of the Bloods at the time in there. Because they had the Bloods, Crips, Lomos. I think that's all that they were split up in gangs. There's the different sets in each one. They put me up, but those were the three main ones. And nobody really fought a lot over that stuff. Matter of fact, Quincy and this kid named Earl, who was the main guy of the Crips, like during certain parts of rec time, instead of playing, they'd be done playing basketball or something. Maybe they wouldn't. And they'd sit in the TV room with everybody else, and they'd tell stories and shit, funny ass shit, about being on the streets and stuff. And that was always a good time. And the Bloods were doing this thing where they were, at the time of the cartoon that I'm talking about now, Quincy and his friends had been going around jumping people. It seemed random, but I guess they had their motivations. And they caught me slipping at the end of this fucking Batman animated series, because apparently Quincy, when I was on the outside, Quincy was one of the kids that we would get in fights with after school all the time, because my best friend's little sister had beat up some kid at her school, and his older brother was trying to beat up my friend, and we'd get in big fights every day after school, and they'd bring in the high school kids and shit, because that was way back in junior high, 7th grade. Anyway, so Quincy knew me from that. And I guess it was my turn, caught me slipping. I get up, I'm stretching. I was like, oh, good show, huh? And he looks over at me, he's just like, get him. I feel my arms get grabbed, I get pulled down. You know, guys holding my legs and my arms, I can't move shit. And they make these sounds when they're punching, like, tss, 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 tss. And, but they stop. Like, after just a couple seconds, they're like, oh, they stop. And one of them sees the Bible in my waistband. He's like, look at it, Quincy, look at this. Quincy says, fucking asshole, says, fuck it. And they start punching in, but I can tell that their punches are way, way soft. And then Juan and Luis come in, and the guards come in, pull them off me and shit. Didn't go on very long. Wasn't even hurt. Didn't hurt at all, actually. I was just a little bit scared from it. I guess that helped build my rep up too while I was in there. Because people remember Juan and Luis rushing in to help me out and shit. And so, anyway, because Juan and Luis, they were brothers, kickboxers. Crazy stories with them too. We had riots in there, and I seen them actually do kickboxing shit down the stairs. We like fucking trying to get down the stairs during this riot and shit, and they're fucking kicking motherfuckers in the face. It's fucking crazy shit in there. Somebody lit the hallway on fire. Man, there's lots of stories. That was a story about that little Bible. I still have that little Bible somewhere. In a box, I think, somewhere. Names and address. I've lost it a few times, but I always found it again. It's weird. Like, I lost it next time I'll tell you the story when I lost it. Now I found it. I don't feel like I told this story right, but that's what you get. Thanks for watching.